So
thank you so much for these kind words. It really means a lot to us.
well, as I said, it means a lot to us as well, because the students spend a lot of time developing those reports. And I know that especially for the larger companies, sometimes the management is so busy with other things that, by the time they see those ideas, the project, that the semester is over, and many students don't really know if anybody sort of read the reports. With you, as I said, it's different. You constantly send us questions. You constantly want to see what the students are working on. And I think not only it means that your company, or probably is a good indicator that your company will go far and will grow fast, but also for me as a teacher, it also means a lot because, the students are sort of in good hands. The students know that you appreciate what they do. And my hope is that we will see some of those ideas implemented, maybe even by the end of the semester. So, and yes, for example, one of the things that I know you're still waiting from us, and I'm, I'm kind of blushing here and feeling bad, but yes, so any day now we should have the consolidated report evaluations from the professors. So
you mean from the first round, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because it's passed.
All of them. Julie is managing that process. So we have most of the evaluations already in. There are still a few professors who needed a reminder because of this COVID-19. Some people, the lives have been disrupted, so it may be a few more days. But we should have more or less, accurate evaluations in a day or two. So if you want to go with the more popular reports first, and then obviously for the second round, it will be a few more weeks before we have them. So it will be a little bit longer before we have them.
How many groups, Vasil, have selected as ZenCV in total?
In the second round, if
first and second.
1 second, I can give you, from the memory, I think you guys are the third most popular company this time. So in the first round, it was Get Out Events, but I sort of did a little, how should I say, I'm trying to balance it. So I was kind of encouraging students to go with the less popular companies in the second round. But somehow ZenCV, one more day, they still remain in top of this. So they were like number 3 and 4, I believe, last time, and they're still roughly around that. So which means that you will have about 60, 70 reports from the first round. And because we have close to 1,000 teams the second time, something like 800, you probably will get another 100 to 200 reports. So you'll probably have a total somewhere, I don't know, 200 to 300 teams total. And so hopefully there will be a lot of good ideas in those reports. We'll see how things go. But yes, you're definitely one of the more popular. And again, I don't know why. I mean, sometimes we think that maybe because the webinar was good and students liked you and decided to work on your challenge. Maybe it's because the product is such that, the students potentially can not only be sort of advisors, but also customers, clients. And I think that might help as well. And one of the questions, by the way, is, and maybe that's what we should start with. So this time, instead of presentations, we want to ask questions. And Julia is here helping us. So she has a list of questions that we would like to ask, and there will be probably more from the students. But one of the questions is, how does the COVID-19 crisis affecting your business? And so the question is especially relevant in the context of spike in the unemployment. In the United States, we had something like 6.5 million applications for unemployment last week. So all those people lost jobs now, but there is a very good chance first they already started looking for new jobs. And even if not yet, within the next few weeks, they all will be going back to the market. So all of a sudden, there will be literally millions and millions of people more looking for jobs than normally. So do you think that means that you will have more business? Do you see more business now? How is the whole situation affecting a company like yours?
That's definitely a good question. Our business is still on the level that we normally have. So we don't see any spike or any drop. Probably because we are still not very strong on this on search engines for the USA and globally. So this global change still didn't have enough time to cascade down so that we feel it. So I assume that our business will grow in the future because of COVID, but so far in practice that hasn't happened.
Yeah, that makes sense. And another related question, again, if I may, we had that in the previous webinar, but I'm curious here as well, just for myself. So in the United States, the government has passed a massive stimulus bill. And I actually received something like 5 letters already from different agencies that all of a sudden asking me if we need any money. And so far what I've been receiving mainly is, do we need any loans or any deferrals on loans or any help with paying interest on loans? And because we didn't borrow any money, so for me that doesn't really, is irrelevant. So we are not planning to borrow any money, and we are not paying any interest on loans. But I believe they said something like 365 billion of that will be specifically targeted help for small businesses. And apparently that's not just help you with the existing debt, but some of that is literally just grants. Like, for example, I got an email from one of my students a couple of days ago. Some of the money is specifically allocated for developing exports. And so apparently, because Xculture works with people from all around the world, they see us as an exporter. And so they apparently are willing to give up to $10,000 per small company for advertisement overseas. So they say, if you want to spend money on advertising for customers in other countries, here is the money. So I'm still trying to explore how exactly it works. Is it a loan or is it a grant? But then again, the question is, do you see anything like that in the European Union? If so, do you qualify for any of those funds? Are you planning to use them? And also, do you think the students should spend some time trying to do research and see what's available? Maybe there is something you don't know yet. So what's your sort of situation here?
That's a fantastic idea. We definitely don't know enough yet. We have been thinking on how to exploit the COVID-19 situation. And when I say exploit, I don't mean in a bad way, bad meaning of that word, how to offer some helpful service to the people in this hard period. So far, we didn't find any tangent between our services and the needs of people influenced by COVID. We are still thinking about it, and we can definitely use students' help both on the research side and on the idea side regarding COVID.
My understanding, Vlad, is that you're in a business of putting people to work, right? And we see basically everything stopped. Many companies have laid off employees, so we'll see a massive unemployment rate for at least a few weeks, maybe a few months, hopefully no more. So something's telling me that not only there will be funds available to you as a small business in general, but I'm sure there will be many governmental agencies, there will be probably some grants specifically for companies like yours that are trying to sort of restore employment in the country. So something's telling me there will be, like, if I were to spend money on somebody, I would definitely spend money on a company like yours. So I don't know what's going on so far. It's still very new. It's only been a few weeks, but something's telling me there will be a lot of interest in your businesses from all kinds of agencies, and then obviously from people who will be looking for jobs. Anyway, let me hand the reins to Julia. She has a list of questions. Maybe, and I'm not asking you to do a company presentation anymore because we've had a few webinars already, so students probably have watched them. And if not, just go to the catalog of the webinar recordings. We've had 2, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can watch those. We had enough. So let's focus on questions this time, and we have a lot of questions. And for the students, if you have any questions as we progress with this webinar, you can type them in the Q&A window, or you can just simply raise your hand. There is a button like that in the on your app, and you can just simply join us here in the virtual room and engage in the discussion with the professor here or the company founder. So this way you can, converse instead of just one-way questions. So, but anyway, Julia, if you want to proceed with the questions, so I'll hand it over to you and shut up for a while.
Thank you. I will be continuing as the theme of the money. And there is a question from other student. If you got a major investment, what would you spend the money on?
Well, that's a very interesting question. If you would ask me that question 5 days ago and now, the answer is not going to be the same. And the answer is different specifically because of Xculture and Polytechnico, because basically the reports that we've been reading gave us some very important insights from round 1. And we're infusing that insight right now, and we are kind of slightly modifying our strategic objectives. So before, our main strategic objective would be to build an online platform which would allow experts from around the world, so HRs and designers, to open their profiles and participate in the creation of CVs for people. And we would invest that money in building some kind of software that would automate the process of creation of the CV in order to render our experts, the experts on our platform, more efficient compared to the experts on, let's say, Upwork or Freelancer or stuff like that. But now, because of the insight that we got from the reports, we are actually thinking of, and we're pretty confident that we're going to follow this direction. So we are thinking of building an online resume builder which is going to offer some kind of artificial intelligence advice on how to build your CV from the content perspective, whereas our designers will develop the uniquely and aesthetically appealing templates from the design perspective. And on top of that, we plan to make a revolution in the CV sector by infusing videos in CVs. So to answer your question specifically, we would use the money to build this online builder, which would allow our users to get amazing content in their CVs, amazing design, and differentiate themselves from the competition by being the only one in the market that have a CV with a video instead of a picture. So if it's hard for you to imagine how that would look like, maybe you can remember Harry Potter and those newspapers in Harry Potter. So it would be something like that.
Cool.
Vlad, sorry, Julia, if I interrupt you. I had kind of webinar a few days ago with a company which is called 60rec. They have already developed this idea of doing a video cover letter. So they have developed an app that allows to basically present yourself, introduce the CV. So it's not the CV, but the part that's matched with the CV, so the letter with a video, and they are selling already their ideas to also big platform of jobs. It might be an idea also to think about a partnership or at least to explore their business because I mean they are basically in line with what you have just said, but instead, as I said, of focusing on the CV part, they're focusing on the cover letter. So that's definitely complementary to your idea. So the company is called 60rec. Maybe I can
60rec.
Correct. Yeah, because it's a recording of 60 seconds. Because they say that in 60 seconds you should be able to present yourself, and this will allow to increase the powerfulness of your CV because, of course, you are able to evaluate also the person, the way he approach the videos, the way he present itself, and so on. And it's a very strong and powerful instrument for selection from the recruiter point of view. So that's definitely something that you might explore with. Just
thank you, Stefano. Good insight. I would like to say that we were also thinking there are a lot of competitors in the market that brand themselves like startup that's gonna kill the CV industry, and then they offer some kind of platforms where instead of putting on your CV, uploading your CV, you actually upload a video of you presenting yourself specifically for that company, and they're saying that videos are going to substitute CVs. But actually what we did some research with the HRs, and we talked to a lot of HRs, and the feedback that we got is that they don't see CVs as a substitute, videos as a substitute to CVs, but as something complementary to CVs. So that's why we had the idea to actually merge the two together and create something unique and valuable.
Yeah, that's exactly their position. It's a complementary tool, definitely. Yes, Julia, sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. Our participants are active and we have several questions from now. First, from the Esther. Is the company willing to spread abroad the countries very far from Italy? Or do you want to stay close to Italy for a particular reason?
Well, although we like Italy very, very much, and the idea was born in Italy, our appetite is definitely global.
Super. The next question is maybe in a continue of this theme. How is the company dealing with the small amount of success stories? Do you consider some BA or eye tracking tests to improve your promotion?
I didn't quite understand the question.
The question is about how you increase your maybe auditory with a small amount. Do you make some A/B testing or some another tracks to improve your promotion in this situation?
Okay, now I understood. So are there any kind of little A/B tests, experiments, or success stories that we collected and that we want to infuse in our day-to-day business? Yes. So we've tested, so far we've tested 2 case studies with 2 people applying for jobs with their old CV and with the new ZenCV. we saw an average between 300 and 400% improvement in responses from recruiters. So 300 to 400% more interview proposals. We don't guarantee what happens after the interview, but at least that first step, we make our candidates three to four times more efficient. That's one part. And then the second part, we also interviewed HRs, around 40 HRs so far. And basically we gave them examples. We gave them the identical CV, just on one side they had the old version, and on the other side they had the new ZenCV version. Of course, the names and some little details were changed so that they don't suspect that the CV is the same. And on average, our CVs got 37% better scores than the old non-ZenCV. So those are some success stories that we collect.
Super. And what is the current average number of customers per month, and maybe some demographics like age, country, the reason for hiring CV services, and also which industries are your customers from? Maybe you have some ideal client profile and can share it with us.
Okay, so that's an interesting question. We still didn't invest in marketing activities because we were still forming and shaping our operational processes, so to make them scalable. We didn't want to rush into getting new clients and then not being able to cope with the high number of clients. Just a second, I need to plug my. So the answer is the number of clients per month is still pretty low, around 5, 6, 7, sometimes 4, sometimes 3, and it's been like that in the past 4 or 5 months. A typical client would be, I don't know if there are any strong trends because the number of customers is still low. But we had marketing users approaching us. We had business consultants. We had fresh graduates from literature. We had managers. We had one manager from Accenture. We had one marketing director from a bank. We had a senior marketing manager for EMEA from L'Oreal. Mostly industries related to business, sales, marketing, finance. I would say that's the main focus right now.
And can you tell more about your marketing strategy? How do you advertise now? How much it costs? Or you have no rush with marketing at all and you work only for operation?
So we still didn't invest so much in marketing activities. The one or two little initiatives that we started so far is we created kind of promotional material for communicating that every month we do a CV lottery. So you can apply, you can get your free CV strength report, and everybody who applies to get a free CV strength report also is immediately inside the lottery. And each month we pick 3 or 4 or 5 winners of the lottery, and they get a free CV. So a side effect of that promotional strategy was that we also got some real clients. So that was one idea that we used. A second idea was we tried to make some funny creative CVs, like the CV of the Night King. We did that last year when there was the Battle of Winterfell, and that brought us some clients as well. Right now we are using an interesting tool which is called Linked Helper. It's kind of an automation bot for LinkedIn, where you can send messages to up to 1,000 people per week. So we are sending messages to students around Milan and around Lombardy, and some of them are interested to be becoming our clients. So that's also what we're doing now. In the future, we are planning to invest heavily on search engine optimization, building a strong online presence and competencies in the sector of job interviews, career development, professional development, personal development, CVs, and everything that's connected to that field. And also we plan to invest heavily in Pinterest, since our The products so far, the products that we offer are visually and aesthetically appealing. So they're perfect material to be posted on Pinterest. When people are searching for inspiration for their CVs, they might bump into some of our CVs, then they maybe finish on our website, get a template, or get some of our services.
Oh, super. Pinterest, it's some maybe a new channel from distribution, because I'm from Ukraine, and Pinterest for us are only for watching some funny or some maybe phone pictures. So it will be very interesting to see this marketing strategy in the future. But now, how many people in the company are currently helping to write up or to make the content and designing the CVs? How long is turnover for one CV, for one apply? Can you say us?
So the question is, how long does it take us to create
How
one CV?
long and how many people are intent?
Okay, so far we have 3 different packages. We can offer you either CV content or CV design or both. So it depends on the package. Let's say if you need only design or only content, the total amount of time that we need to put into one CV is around 1.5 hours. Sometimes less, sometimes more, depending on the CV, of course. And if you want both, it's between 2 and 3 hours, also depending how much work there is to be done. How many people are working on the CVs? Currently, we have 3 HRs and 3 designers. We are all working part-time. So our current capacity is around 50 CVs per month.
And continuing this question, we have another one. Is this your only job in this time, or do you have another businesses or projects?
So the business is still not profitable, so we're all working part-time. There are 10 people in total in the team, 3 designers, 3 HRs, 3 co-founder, and 1 social media expert in marketing and search engine optimization guru. And we're planning to expand our team. The weakest link is the lack of IT expertise in the team. So we're planning to hire 1 IT person soon. And we are also planning to hire 1 content writer / social media expert to help with the online presence.
And when you will be hiring people, what will I will you looking for? Maybe you have some portrait of your ideal content maker. It will be maybe interesting for our students. They can be maybe your new colleague.
That's a great question. We are definitely open to the possibility of students becoming part of our team, and we would love to engage with talented students. So let's say 3 main characteristics we're looking for in this candidate, which would be the content writer, editor, and social media. First would be strong drive, passion, and hunger, let's say. So we would like to, we basically, we don't want to build a company where we have employees. We would like to build a movement, a family. So we would like to give equity shares to all the members of our company. And that means that since we have high ambitions and we are hungry, we also need people who are like-minded, who would believe in the idea and would increase the fire of the company by bringing along their own fire. That would be number 1. Number 2 would be a strong command of English language, so English language proficiency, possibly with a little bit spiced with a little bit of creativity and maybe some talent for using words, talent for writing, stuff like that. And the third would be, since the topics that we will write about are closely related to personal growth, personal development, professional development, we would need a person who is very, very eager to work on him or herself. So somebody who is already investing a lot of time of becoming better every day. That kind of person would be an ideal match with what we're looking for.
The next question is from our Q&A panel. It's a live question. Which social media is best for ZenCV to marketing?
Pinterest. And Okay, there are two segments. The first segment would be organic traffic, and the second would be paid advertising. For the organic traffic, Pinterest would be the best. For paid advertising, I'm not quite sure. I would have to ask Christina, our social media expert, but it's either Facebook or Instagram.
Super. Let me check for another question.
There is another one, Julia, from Jeroen, I think. Does ZenCV consider a business model with a free trial and after that buying the premium version to explore all the extra functionalities, especially because you are so young and the way you can convince your customer to use their service could be this. That's the point.
That's exactly what me and Federica, my fiance co-founder, were discussing yesterday. So we are planning to reinvent our business model, offering a freemium model. So free, a part of our services, some basic package would be free, and then if you would like to get the full package, you would have to pay a premium subscription fee. And how we would structure the offer, you would get that online builder. You will get maybe 1 or 2 basic templates for free, some basic advices on how to fill the content for free. But if you want more advanced, more beautiful templates and better content advice, and also access to our educational database where we will be talking about how to prepare for an interview, also some kind of professional orientation software that we're planning to do, that's all going to be included in the premium version.
I have a very interesting question, but I will just a little modified it. Let's model a situation in the nearest future when we have unemployment, like Vasil said. If there will be a bottleneck situation when you will receive too many orders in a period, but you will be unable to turn over all CVs on the time, what would you do? What will you do?
Well, we are very thoughtful about this risk. So we are not going to invest, I don't know, a couple of €1,000 in advertising tomorrow and put ourselves in potential danger because of the boomerang effect of this advertising. What we will do is we will invest in search engine optimization, which is always very slow and incremental, so that we don't get caught by any surprises.
Super.
And if we do, I don't know what we would do. Probably we would call all the friends and professionals that we have to help us dealing with the demand as soon as possible, and also sending some refunds to clients or sending some discounts to clients to ease the pain of getting their CVs later than expected.
And talking about the clients, do you know if there are some new customers who were referred by the old customers?
Yes, we are getting referrals constantly.
And maybe you can tell us a % of new customers who were acquired via advertising or they are via the word of mouth.
That's a good question, and I must say I don't have an answer. My rough intuition would be 60% would be advertising, 40% would be referral.
And
I should know the answers. I'm going to write it down to get the answer.
Okay, Rafaela is asking something about founding, because in your presentation you say that you prefer business angel for founding. So why do you think that this is the best option? And whether you are considering some others?
So we think that, well, let me start with the amount. We don't need a lot of money. Sorry for the noise. There's a train passing. So we don't need a lot of money, and we don't need hundreds of thousands of euros, or millions of euros right now. So VCs fall out of the game automatically. Also, we are super early, so VCs would never go with us. we thought of angels as an ideal partner in this stage because the amount of money that we need is compatible with what angels usually offer, which is somewhere between 30, 40, 50K up to maybe 150, 200. And also the valuation and the percentage that we would give away to the angel would be something that's acceptable for us right now. We wouldn't like to give away 30 or 40% of our company, but 5 or 10 or 15 would be acceptable. And those are the two factors. And the third factor would be, I would say, potentially an angel that wouldn't only bring money, but also some expertise would be interesting because right now we definitely have a very versatile and complementary skill set within the team, which is good, but we are all relatively young, so we lack expertise. So somebody really being a business veteran could offer valuable insight for us. So that could potentially be an angel.
We have a new question. What does ZenCV primarily need to make the future artificial intelligence ideas work?
So when I say artificial intelligence, it's not really yeah, there are going to be two stages. So in the first stage, it's not going to be really artificial intelligence. It's just going to be intelligent software that will be able to modify the proposal and suggestions based on different industries or different backgrounds or different skills that you have, stuff like that. For that, we don't that kind of coding is not actually very difficult. We would need a basic front end or maybe a full stack developer. The second stage would be very difficult, which is to develop real artificial intelligence suggestions. And for that, we would need first a very big data set of background information about the student, and then a very big data set of the goals that the student is trying to achieve with their CV, and then the correlation between the two data sets. And then the machine would have to learn as they are filling out the builder online. The machine would follow their steps and learn and try to imitate what's important for them and try to understand what they find valuable. And over time and through a lot of iterations and testing with a lot of data, the machine would learn how to recreate that process on its own. And for that, we would probably need thousands and thousands of customers and probably a very strong artificial intelligence IT team within the company. That's probably something to come maybe in 2 or 3 years from now.
Good strategy and good plans for the nearest future. And maybe, do you plan to work with any businesses or universities or government agencies, or all your users will be individual subscribers? What do you think?
That's a very good question. We are definitely going to plan to work with universities. We are still working on the idea and the offer and the pricing, and it's all still very, very fuzzy. It's not very concrete. Basically, what we plan to do, we want to create a CV workshop franchise model. So just like McDonald's sells you the brand and the burger place and the design inside and all the services, but the owner is actually some local business entrepreneur. Just like that, we would like to create our own CV workshop methodology. And then we would allow people around the world to get our certificate and teach our workshop anywhere around the globe at faculties. And the business model would be, we're still not 100% sure, but we're thinking about offering the CV workshop for free. And the CV workshop will be somewhat interactive. So you would have the teacher guiding you on how to create the contents of your CV. And in parallel with that, you would use our online builder to input those contents inside of the CV on an online builder. And also at the end of the workshop, the person teaching would also bring a professional camera and make a video of 3 or 4 students. And then demonstrating how their CV looks after infusing that video in their CV, but not giving it to everybody. So all the rest come home and they actually have an incentive to pay for a premium service and infuse their own videos in their own CVs. And then the representative would get a percentage of the sales made based off that workshop, if that makes sense.
Depend on your current and past customers. We have a new question from Jiron. How is the current gathering of information from your customers structured? And do you think about more additional ways?
Good question. So 99% of the time, maybe not 99, 95, we collect all of our customer requirements through a questionnaire that can be found online on our website. So there are between 15 and 30 questions depending on the package. Usually it takes between 5 and 10 minutes. We collect all the data that we need and we use that data to recreate your CV. In some cases, 5% of the time, that's not enough. So we basically need a phone call or maybe some kind of email communication, chat communication to collect more data and to infuse that in the CV. I don't know if I answered the question 100%.
We have a question from the students who couldn't attend us about your mission and vision statement. Do you have that, or you don't believe in mission and vision statements at all?
We have a vision and mission statement that can be found in our business plan that's attached to the company brief. Basically, we would like to help more than 1 million people around the world manifest their best career, their best potential self, and their best career self. So the idea is to help people, more than 1 million people around the globe, grow personally and manifest their best professional potential.
Why only 1 million, Vlad?
Well, I don't know. It's
why so shy?
Yeah, why do you limit yourself? We are 700 billions, by the way, in the world. So
we are 7 billion.
7, yeah. Sorry.
We would like to reach something reasonable first, and then in the future we will expand our goals if we reach the first one, for sure.
Okay, Julia, you have other question from the students?
I'm looking for one.
I have one question for Julia. Where did you find that chair?
I will send you a link, okay?
From a car.
It's amazing.
No, it's not from a car. It's a chair for games, for gamers.
Yeah.
A chair and earphones. It's my husband is a IT guy, so it's his chair. Because in my room, my daughter is sleeping now. It's not about ZenCV. Let's go back and maybe there are some things what you do outsource and what do you do for yourself for now. I know that you are not a big company, but maybe something you do outsource now.
Currently, we are doing everything in-house. We're not outsourcing anything, but we're planning to outsource a part of our content creation, blog writing, and potentially legal services or those stuff that we need on an occasional basis and not something that we really need as a core competency within the team.
Super. I think I have the one last question. If there anyone of the participants willing to ask the Q&A panel. If you could go in time, what could you do differently? Maybe you have some advices for people who want to make themselves startupper? Some bunch of advices that you maybe you did said to yourself and to your colleagues.
So there are many things that come to my mind, but one is very vocal in my mind, is the choice of your co-founder is everything. It's such an important decision, and it's such a tough decision because humans are the most complex equations. So it really taught me a lot, actually, how naive and how ignorant I was, and how little I knew about human nature and about understanding other people and their motivations. And that's definitely something that was the hardest lesson for me. I actually had a co-founder until May last year, but we separated our ways. So there was a new team that we formed after that, and the new team was actually formed based on the bad experience we had in the beginning. So be mindful. If you want to make your own company, great, but you need people that are equally passionate, equally intelligent, with a complementary set of skills, and that would be the tree that comes to my mind right now.
Vlad, and given that you are in engineering, I'd like to know to what extent your management engineering studies were useful for what you're doing or not.
Ooh,
Just
extremely.
a sincere answer.
I would say 70% of all the skills that I'm using are management engineering.
Okay, that's good.
Definitely.
So there is a hope for the guys that are studying our university.
Other 20% would be engineering, so hard skills. And actually, I'm really feeling the gap there. If I could go back in time to answer Julia's question, not 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I studied management, but 7, 8 years ago when I started studying engineering, I would definitely invest more time to learn how to code, to learn all the data analysis tools, SQL, Excel, all of those things that would
digital technologies, let's say.
Digital tech. I would invest my time in crazy in that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but you're still on time. Yes.
I can say that learning Excel is very useful for everybody. I can say it like executive assistant. It's very useful.
There are 2 last quick questions that we can ask. One is from Raffaella. How do you plan to get people writing blog posts for you? So making advertising for you through blog.
So we plan to start with the blog on our own. We have 10 people in the team. Some of us are going to be writing. But so the first step we will start writing ourselves. That will bring some customers. Those customers will bring some money. That money will be reinvested to get people from the outside write even more. And that will in turn bring more customers and more reinvestment, and that cycle will start to expand.
Okay, and then Jeroen asked whether ZenCV has an idea or requirement about the potential new markets to entry, so which is related to your market selection. So if you have any ideas or requirement about the market selection, about the new markets that you wanna enter.
So we are pretty confident that the USA will be the most with the market with the biggest potential. We are not quite sure. We know that we had one group that analyzed how we could open a legal entity in the USA and start doing the business there, but we're not interested in that. We are interested in how can we run a business potentially from Italy or from Serbia and operate in the USA without any legal restrictions. So that would be something interesting that the students could research.
Okay, and also a wider question. So what were the main insights that you get from the first round? So one was the business model that you have discussed again. What else? I mean, you are picking up from the previous rounds.
Business model is definitely one. Another one would be pricing. The students are not actually willing to, or at least a small fraction of students is willing to pay more than $30, $40 for the service. And mostly students they're kind of they prefer saving a little bit money and experimenting and doing something on their own. They don't value their time so much. So they would rather do it themselves than ask somebody else to write them a CV. So that's why the builder would actually be the better solution for starting with the students, and that would create a stronger synergy with our CV workshops than creating some other business model. That was one insight. And then there were a lot of little insights from the HRs, like what they hate to see in the CV, what they like to see in the CV. Also some new insights related to competitors. We're really understanding how the competitor landscape looks like, where are the potential gaps, where the competition is strong, how to avoid those fields. So it's just lots of little pieces falling in a beautiful puzzle all together.
And as a complementary question, what do you think is still missing, and therefore the students should try to give you more answer? Let's say, what areas of the challenge you're still trying to get more information, more insights, and therefore you who suggest to go much more in depth in particular?
So none of the students analyzed our business for what it could become. All the students analyzed our business currently. So what we would like to know is there are different strategic alternatives that we might follow in the future. Mm-hmm. How do each of those compare? What are the pros and cons for each strategic alternative? So one strategic alternative is the platform with freelancers. The second would be the CV workshop. The third would be CV builder with video. The fourth would be building only an artificial intelligence that I don't know. The fifth would be building a business-to-business solution where we would actually help big companies narrow down and come to the right candidates based on some intelligent form of applicant tracking system, not the one that exists today. So what we would like to see is students maybe making one big table and putting the pros and cons for each potential solution. That would be very interesting.
Okay, that's an interesting point. So to understand different alternative models, and therefore like to run a kind of parallel project where you explored the various areas across the different function models. So also might be that some countries are better for one business model rather than another. And that's an interesting point of view. Okay. Julia, I don't know if, okay. Vasil,
yeah, I think we are pretty much done. So we need to stop around now because we have one more webinar.
Yeah. And we drink a coffee in the meantime. This time.
Yeah, we drink a coffee. Okay.
Okay. So thank you, Vlad, and see you in 10 minutes. Okay, with Julia.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Julia. So as she just hinted, I did ask her to step in literally a few minutes before the webinar. So next time I'll let you know, but you seem to be doing just fine. So yes. All right. Thank you so much.
I do my best.
Yeah. And good luck to your company, Vlad. As I said, you're now not only on a mission to make some money, but also to save the world as this recession is looming. So I guess hopefully you will do well by doing good. So yeah.
And Vasil and I wait for the shares, okay, of the companies.
Yes.
I wish you all the best as well. And we are so happy to be part of this amazing initiatives. And thank you also to all the students with their ingenuity and ideas and passion. It's really, really a great thing going on here.
Thank you so much. And we will have the recording available in a few hours. So those who could not attend live will be able to watch it later. All right. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.